This is Dr. Bertha, i.e., presenting a synopsis of Word of Inspiration for Saturday, December 2nd, 2017. The title of today's message was Perfection Through Suffering. My text was taken from Philippians 3, verse 10. Paul said, "That I may know him and the power of his resurrection and the fellowship of his suffering, being made conformable unto his death." The goal of the message was to let you know that in our Christian walk, sometimes you would go through suffering. Paul said that we would have fellowship with Christ's sufferings. And oh boy, did Paul know the fellowship of his sufferings? And did he experience the power of his resurrection? In fact, Paul became so powerful that handkerchiefs that were taken from his body will just heal people. His shadow falling on people would get them healed. But did he go scot-free? Did he experience the fellowship of his sufferings? You know, in 2 Corinthians, he tells us what he went through. He said he was beaten 3 times, he was stoned, he was shipwrecked. In fact, he went through so much, but he paid the price. So no wonder Martin Luther King mentions Paul in his letter while in jail in Alabama. What did Martin Luther King believe in? He also wanted equal rights for black and white. He believed all men were created equal. So while in prison, he wrote a letter. There were these white ministers who were accusing him of just being too much and being too out there. And he had to defend himself. It was a long letter. But in the 3rd paragraph, he mentioned Paul. So in today's message, we talked about Christ's sufferings, the fact that we would have to go through some things if we're really committed to Christ. Do you believe in Jesus? It's not only about blessings, you know, it's not a bed of roses. You're going to have to be challenged. You would go through some suffering. There will be some sacrifices along the way, but be assured that in Christ Jesus, you're more than a conqueror. God says, "I will never leave you nor forsake you." He said, "I'm your God. I will uphold you with my victorious right hand." When you go through anything, I'm going to be right there by your side. He will guide you. He will uphold you. He will strengthen you. He will establish you. So say this after me: I'm more than a conqueror. I'm a winner. I've been programmed to succeed. God has a plan for my life, so I will not die, but I will live to fulfill God's purpose concerning my life. And Jesus promised us, whatever you sacrifice, houses, lands, houses for my sake on the Gospels, you will receive 100-fold in this time. So take a moment, listen to the full clip of Perfection Through Suffering. God richly bless you. Please join me again tomorrow.